Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Muhammad Ubaid and this is another video of Basics of Structural Analysis series. And in this video we are going to start a new topic, which is Macaulay's method for finding slope and deflection. In this video we are going to learn why we need this Macaulay's method, because we have already learned different types of method, particularly the double integration method, and we will learn how to use this method, what are the equation involved, sign convention. In the end of this video we will learn what are boundary conditions, continuity conditions and symmetry conditions as well. So let's get started with the video without any further delay. So first thing which we have to discuss is why Macaulay's method. Okay, so why we need this method? So in our previous lectures we have learned the double integration method. So this Macaulay's method, you can say it is a extension of double integration method for complex problems. Okay, so we will see what are the different types of problem which we can solve by this Macaulay's method very easily. Okay, so let us take an example of a cantilever beam like this. This is fixed end and this beam is subjected to UDL of W. Okay, this is A and the fixed end is B. Now if I want to find out the slope and deflection in this cantilever beam at any point by using double integration method, so what I will do, I will have to write this relationship EI d2y over dx square is equal to mxx. What is mxx? Mxx is the bending moment at section xx, okay, an arbitrary section xx at a distance of x. So what we do, we find out the equation for mxx. So mxx will be minus wx square by 2, and then we put this value of mxx in this equation, okay, which relates the flexural rigidity, curvature of beam and the bending moment mxx. And finally we integrate this equation to get the equation for dy by dx. Okay, then we integrate this equation of dy by dx, okay, to get the value of y. Okay, so in this way we have three equations. So this is a very simple case. Now if we have a complex beam, okay, complex type of loading, not complex beam, if we have a typical loading like this, so we are taking the example of our previous solved problem, question number 3 of double integration method. You can see that video, the link will be in the description. So in that problem we have a point load, let us name this point load P. We also have a UDL W, okay, and the distance, let us say this is A, and this distance, let us say that this distance is B, and the whole length of the beam is let us call this length as L. Now if I want to solve this problem by using double integration method, so what we have done in our previous video, we have taken two sections like this, one section xx and the other section which we have taken was like this yy. Now why we have taken these two sections? Okay, so the reason is that this loading is discontinuous. Okay, what does it mean by discontinuous? Discontinuous means that this UDL, which is of W kilonewton or W unit per meter, is not acting on the whole span of the beam. Okay, let me name this A, B and C. This UDL is acting on the span segment BC. Okay, the segment AB is free. Okay, and we also have a point load. So this type of loading is called as discontinuous loading. Okay, if this UDL is over whole of the span of the beam, then it will be continuous, but there is a point load, so this point load will make it discontinuous. Okay, understand? Now what we have done in our double integration method, we have taken these two sections, we have written three equations for this xx section, we have written three equations for this yy section. Okay, so then we have a total of 6 equations and we had 4 constants C1, C2, C3, C4. So we have to find out those 4 constants, then finally we will get the values of deflection and slope at any point in the beam. But in Macaulay's method we can do all these things by using only 3 equations. Okay, so how we are going to do this, let us see. Now first of all, the first step in Macaulay's method is to take sections, okay, as we do in double integration method. So how we are going to take different sections? So in this beam we will take these two sections, okay, as it is. Now if there is another point load. Let us say that there is a point load here P1. Okay, then we have to take another section. Okay, we have to take another section here. Let us name this section ZZ, because this point load will make this UDL loading, and this P you can say this BC segment, there will be a discontinuity at this point P1 because of this point load. Okay, because of this point load at let us name this as E. So there will be discontinuity at E because of this point load in the span BC also. So we have to take 3 sections, and the important thing in this Macaulay method is that we will write a combined equation. We will write a combined equation for MXX. So you can write it as single equation for whole beam. Okay, so we will write a single equation for whole beam, then we will integrate this equation for finding our dy by dx equation, and then we will integrate the equation again for finding the equation for deflection. So let us see how we will do this. Okay, so as shown in the figure, let us assume that this section XX is at a distance of x. Now if I want to find out the bending moment at section XX, so what will be the bending moment? So bending moment will be, let us name that there is a reaction, there will be reaction RA, and here there will be reaction RC. So the bending moment at XX will be RA times X. Okay, so this is the equation for bending moment at XX. Now if I want to find out the bending moment at YY, so what will be the bending moment? So bending moment will be RA times, let us assume that this YY is at a distance of X. Okay, so what will be the bending moment? So bending moment will be RA times X minus, okay, minus, there will be bending moment due to this P, point load of P. So the value will be P X minus A. Why X minus A? Because this point load is acting at a distance X minus A. Okay, as you can see here. So this is X minus A. Now the other bending moment will be due to this UDL. Okay, UDL. So the UDL will be, the bending moment will be, so the intensity of UDL is W. So we don't need to write the units here. So W, the bending moment will be X minus A into X minus A whole square by 2. Okay, so this is the equation for bending moment at YY. Now we have another section ZZ. So what will be the equation at section ZZ? So at section ZZ, the equation will be, we are again considering that this section ZZ is at a distance of X meter, or you can say X from A. Okay, so the equation for bending moment will be RA times X. Okay, and let us assume that this P1 is acting at a distance of C1. Okay, C1 from A. So the bending moment will be RA times X minus P X minus A. This bending moment is due to this P loading, and the other will be due to the UDL. So the bending moment at ZZ will be W X minus A whole square by 2. Okay, and there will be another term due to this loading P1. So the term will be P1 X minus C. Okay, so this is the bending moment due to this loading P1. Why X minus C? Because this P1 is acting at a distance C from A, and the section is at a distance XX. Okay, so I hope it is very clear how we have to write these equations for different sections in a beam. Okay, bending moment at different section in a beam. Now we have 3 equations. Okay, so the important point is that how we are going to write a single equation. As I have told here, that we will have a single equation for bending moment. Okay, which we will be using in this equation, which relates the curvature, flexural rigidity, and the bending moment. So we have now three equations. Now let us see how we will combine these equations. So let us write mxx. So first of all we will write this equation. So Rax, and let me write the whole equation first, then I will illustrate to you. So the other term will be minus px minus a minus wx minus a whole square by 2. Okay, and again we will have a minus p1 x minus c. So in this way we have to write this equation, which is a single equation containing all the important terms. Now we will understand how we are going to write this equation. Okay, so what this equation means, let us say if I want to find out the bending moment at section xx. Okay, so what I need only these two terms, only this first term. Okay, so if I want to find the bending moment at xx, this first term is sufficient. Now if I want to find out the bending moment at section yy, so I need these two terms. Okay, as you can see in this equation. Okay, further if I want to find out the bending moment at section zz, at this section, okay, zz, at section zz, so how many terms do I need? I need all these terms. Okay, as you can see in this equation. So I have all these terms. Now why I have written why I have drawn these vertical lines. So these vertical line shows that where there is a discontinuity in the section. Okay, so this vertical line means that if I want to find out the bending moment at xx, I will only use the equations before the vertical line. Now if I want to find out the bending moment at section yy, so I will use all the terms which are before this vertical line. Okay, so if I want to find out the bending moment at zz section, the last one at zz section, then I will use all these terms. Okay, all these terms up to the last one. So in this way we can write a single equation which contains all the important terms for finding the bending moment at any point in the given B. Okay, so I hope it is very clear to you how we can write these equations. Now we will write our relationship. So the relationship ei d2y over dx square is equal to mxx, and we will put the value of mxx here. So Rax minus vertical line px minus a minus wx minus a square by 2, vertical line again minus p1 x minus c. Okay, now this is the first equation. Okay, now we will integrate this equation. Integrate equation number 1. So after integration, let me write after integration what I will get, we will get ei dy by over dx. dy by dx is nothing, it is slope. Okay, so integration will lead us to x square by 2. There will be a term of there will be a constant of integration. So the important thing is that we have to write the coefficient of integration just before the first term, or you can say just before the first vertical line. Okay, just before the first vertical line, remember this point. Okay, I will tell you the reason why. So let me write it here first. C1 bracket p minus x1 square by 2 minus wx minus a whole cube by 6, again vertical line p minus x square by 2. Okay, so one thing is very important, that while doing the integration, do not expand this square. Okay, this whole square, just integrate it like this, as I have done here. Okay, so if you open this whole square, it will create difficulties. So do not open this whole square, just integrate it like this. I will integrate again. Let us name this equation as equation 2. So we will get the equation for deflection. Okay, ei by Rax cube by 6 plus c1x plus c2 bracket minus p1 x minus a whole cube by 6 minus wx minus a whole 4 by 24. Okay, sorry, it will be 24, again vertical line, minus p x minus a whole cube by 6. So this is our equation number, third. Okay, now we have got 3 equations and we have only 2 constant, which is c1 and c2. Now I will tell you why I have written these c1 and c2, because in this method these c1 and c2 will remain same for the whole beam, no matter where you are going to find out the deflection and slope by using these 2 equations. Okay, so that's why I have written these c1 and c2 constant here. So let me write it here. C1 and C2 will be same for whole beam. Okay, it means that if you want to find out the deflection at x is equal to 0, it will be C1 and C2. If you want to find out the deflection at the last point of the beam, the C1 and C2 will be same. Okay, so now we have got these equations, so we can find out the constant C1 and C2 to get our final equation. So how we are going to find out these C1 C2? So how to find C1 and C2? So in our previous videos or double integration method, we have used a very important thing, which is boundary conditions. Okay, so what are boundary conditions? So we have taken a case of a simple supported beam. There is a pin support and there is a roller support. Okay, so this is our A and this is C. Now at C, what is this? This is a pin support. Okay, this is a pin support at A. Okay, and at C we have a roller support. Okay, what does it mean? That we are measuring the distance x from A. So if I write at x is equal to 0, which means at A. Okay, so at x is equal to 0, y will be 0. Y is the deflection. Okay, why? Because at pin support there is no deflection. Okay, there can only be a rotation. That's why we can use this conditions. And the other condition which we can use at C, x is equal to L. L is the, what is L? L is the whole length of the beam. At x is equal to L, y will also be 0, because at roller support we can also not have any type of deflection. We can only have a rotation at roller support or at a pin support. Okay, so we have these 2 conditions. These conditions are called boundary conditions. Okay, now these conditions are very important, or we can because we will use these conditions to find out our constant C1 and C2. Okay, we have 2 constant and we have 2 boundary conditions, so we can very easily find out the value of C1 and C2 by using these 2 boundary conditions. Now these 2 conditions are sufficient for many problems, but we will understand different types of conditions. Okay, so the other type of condition is continuity conditions. Okay, continuity conditions. So what are these continuity conditions? Okay, now look at this. Sorry, let me draw this beam again here for more clarity. So this is our pin support, and here we have a roller support. Now if we have loaded this beam, then this beam will deflect like this. So okay, and let us call that this point is our P, and there we have a point load. Okay, I am taking general case. So we have a point P. Okay, so at P, this elastic curve is continuous. Okay, what is this? This is our elastic curve. At P, this elastic curve is continuous, which means that if I write the equations for double integration method or for any double integration method, from this side, okay, from this side, let me write it as A B C, or you can say for segment AB, okay, and I find out the slope, let me write it dy by d1 x1 theta b, okay, and if I write the equation for this segment BC and I find the slope again, the slope at theta b should be equal because the curve is continuous, okay, and the other condition will be the deflection should also come equal from both the sides at B, okay. So these two conditions we have used in our previous problems where we have solved double integration problem using double integration method, okay. These two conditions are not very useful in Macaulay's method because we have a single equation for bending moment, okay. So if there is a problem, I will be solving that problem, okay, by using these two conditions if we have found out any question, okay. Now the other condition is our symmetry conditions. So what are symmetry conditions? Now look, if we have a beam like this is our simple supported beam, okay, and this beam is loaded with a point load P at mid span, okay, at L by 2. So what we can understand by this type of loading? So we can easily say that at B deflection y will be, sorry, let me write it again. So at B the deflection will be delta max because we have a point load is acting at a midpoint of the beam. The other important point which we can write here is the slope dy by dx will be 0. The slope will be 0. Why? Because the deflection is maximum, so the tangent at that point B, the tan B, the slope of this tangent at B will be 0. Okay, so this is another condition which we can use to find out our constant of integration C1 and C2. We can use these three conditions in double integration method, in our Macaulay's method as well, okay, as we found suitable. So these are the different types of conditions. Now the one thing which has remained is the sign conventions, okay. So we have understood what is Macaulay's method and what are different types of equations used in this method and how we are going to find out the constant of integration. Now the other and the last thing which has left is the sign convention, okay. The sign convention will remain same as we have assumed in double integration method, okay. What are the coordinates, what is the coordinate system which we have used in our double integration method? We will use the same system. So we have assumed that the y is positive if it is measured in upward direction and the y is negative if it is measured in downward direction, okay. And let us assume that this beam has deflected like this. So if I measure this slope, so this slope, let us name this as theta A, and if I measure the if I measure the slope, okay, if I measure the slope at this point, let me draw this again. This is a boulder support, okay. So if I measure the slope at this point, so it will be theta B, okay. Let me illustrate how we are going to use our sign convention. So first let me write as theta. If we get positive, if we get a value of slope dy by dx, dy by dx is nothing, it is slope. If we get a value of theta positive, which means the slope is anti-clockwise, okay. The slope is anti-clockwise. If we get a value negative, it means the slope is clockwise, okay, which means that the value of this theta A will be negative okay, and the value of theta b will be positive. This is for illustration purpose. Okay, these values can be anything according to the loading, but I am just illustrating you that if this is the condition, then this theta a will come out to be negative by solving the equation, and this theta b should be positive. Okay, now what about deflection? So the deflection will be taken as positive. If we get a positive value, it means that the deflection is upward. If we get a negative value, it means the deflection is downward. Okay, very simple. So this is it for this video. If you have any confusion regarding any point, please comment down in the comment box and I will try to answer all your comments as soon as possible. If you like this video, please share this video and subscribe to my channel. We will meet in our next video. Thanks for watching.